Welcome to BAResource, guys, to the first inaugural episode. This is my very first time doing a YouTube channel. We are going to be teaching you guys cocktails, classics, customs. Today we're going to be going through one of what I think is the most important cocktail to have in your repertoire, or to at least know how to make if you're just even a casual drinker at home. And that is the old-fashioned cocktail. We're going to be making actually 3 variations. The classic, which is traditionally a bourbon old-fashioned, a mezcal old-fashioned, which is called a Oaxacan old-fashioned. Is that right, Reggie?
Sure.
Oaxacan old-fashioned. And the third is a custom creation made out of Lafroig, which is a very peaty scotch. Before we get started, I actually do have a guest. Sometimes we're gonna have guests, sometimes we're gonna play games, sometimes it's just gonna be me. My guest for the very first episode is actually my new buddy. Come here, Vinny. Come on. And his name is Goose. Hi. Hi. Not only a first-time YouTuber, but a first-time dog owner. For those who are asking, Goose is an Alaskan Klekai, like a mini husky. He won't get too big, but he's only been with us for a couple weeks, and he has been an absolute angel. Too young to drink, so he's not gonna be trying any cocktails today, but he's just gonna be bringing cuteness and maybe some comedic relief. Right, buddy? You wanna say anything? All right, let's see if you can hang out here for a little bit. You wanna hang out here? Huh? Huh? Do you wanna hang out over here? No. Goose is gonna go ahead and take a nap underneath. We're gonna go ahead and start making these cocktails. First and foremost, what are you going to need to craft these cocktails? You are going to need some tools. There are 3 different things that you can actually make the drink in, and I'm going to make the 3 different variations in those 3 different things. So the short side of a tin, a mixing glass, or just straight into the glass that you're going to drink it out of. Depending on who you're making the drink for, whether it be patrons, yourself at home, whatever is easiest for you. Obviously, making it directly in the glass, the drink is going to be a little more bold. You will also need a mixing spoon. You will need jiggers if you want it to be a balanced cocktail, not multiple necessarily, but just one. The Japanese is my favorite style, 1 to 2 ounce measurements, and you will need a strainer. XO strainer is my absolute favorite brand, but anything will do. Any other tools other than me? No? Last but not least, you will actually need a citrus peeler as well. A citrus rind is paramount in an old-fashioned cocktail. Also, what are you gonna need? Other than tools, you are going to need ingredients, and there's actually decisions to make. If you just wanna make a classic old-fashioned cocktail, bourbon is going to be your liquor of choice. If you wanna make something a little bit different, we can go mezcal, you can go scotch, you can go cognac. Really, you can make an old-fashioned out of anything. You just wanna change maybe your citrus, your bitters, your syrup to affect the flavor in different ways. Today, we are going to be making 3 different old-fashions. The classic, which we'll be using bourbon, and just not to unnecessarily promote any brands, we're gonna turn these backwards for now. But we'll be using bourbon, mezcal, and a very peaty scotch, which all these are extremely recognizable, I'm sure. Seasoned drinkers, we know what we're looking at here.
Especially considering that it says it literally in bold in the back.
Does it really? On like all of them?
No, on that one.
Oh, the best one. That's all that matters. Lafroig, we will promote you. Pairing with these, you wanna look at your syrup, your bitter combination, your citrus. For the classic, we are going with a Demerara syrup, which is a lot like a brown sugar syrup, Angostura bitters, orange bitters, and an orange rind. For the Oaxacan Old Fashioned, we're going to be using an agave, complements the tequila much better. We're going to be using orange and Angostura bitters as well, and also an orange rind. The Lafroig, we're actually doing something a little interesting. Since it's so smoky and peaty, we're using a maple syrup, which I actually blend with a fig jam, just to give it some nice sweetness with that peaty smokiness. Peach bitters, Ango bitters, ice, glassware, these things are important as well. As you can see, different glassware just kind of aesthetically is going to make the cocktail a little bit better. And ice, you do want block ice. Block ice is not gonna dilute it, take away those flavors, those delicious flavors that you're working so hard to create. Let's get started. All right, so first we're gonna start with our glassware. We are going to build the classic old-fashioned in a very classic old-fashioned glass. We are going to build the mezcal, the Oaxacan old-fashioned, in this little stylistic glass here. And then we're gonna build my little specialty Lafroig creation in this style of glass here. I wish I knew more about glasses, styles. You know, I can't describe any of this stuff, but they're cool looking. I go to stores and I just buy what's cool looking. First, you are gonna start with your syrups. We are using Demerara, which is a lot like a brown sugar syrup, agave, and then our fig jam maple syrup here for our Lafroig cocktail. I've already prepped these, but essentially it's just going to be a 1-to-1 ratio of your sweet stuff and water. You're just diluting these syrups so that they mix well, they blend better in the cocktail. I'm gonna go one at a time, starting with the classic classic old fashioned that we're gonna build directly into the glass. We're gonna start with half an ounce of Demerara syrup. Directly into the glass there. 2 dashes of orange bitters and 4 of Ango. And then we're gonna go 2 ounces of our bourbon. All right, now that we've completely built our old fashioned into the glass here, the last thing we actually have to do is set it up with our cube, our citrus. So we're gonna wait on that. We wanna actually deliver all 3 of these cocktails at the same time. You guys actually might be making one of these cocktails individually, but I just wanted to display what it's like to actually try and get these all presented at the exact same time as bartenders tend to do. So our mezcal old fashioned, our Oaxacan old fashioned, we wanna use half an ounce of agave. We're going to do 2 dashes of orange bitters as well. We're gonna just do 2 dashes of Angostura, and then we're going to do 2 ounces of our mezcal, our brandless mezcal. All right, now that that's built here, the last thing we need to do is actually stir it, strain it into a glass. So we're gonna wait on that 1 second, and I'm gonna build my Lafroig Old Fashioned over here. This is our fig jam maple syrup. We're gonna actually use 0.75 in this one because we want a little bit of that richness to come through. A little more of that richness to come through. 2 dashes of peach bitters, 2 dashes of Angostura bitters, 2 ounces of our Lafroig. Last but not least, at least to prep these to go into the glass, we are going to ice the heck out of these containers because we're gonna stir them. I wish I was skilled enough to stir both of these at once. I don't think I am. It's not bad, it's not great. Let's not show that. Cut that one out. Cut that part out. All right, so essentially you're just going to do a 10 to 15 second stir on both of these. You want the back of the spoon to actually ride the outside of the glass. Hold it like a pencil and just hold it loosely so the spoon does all the work for you. Same thing on the tin. I find it much easier to stir in the mixing glass. It is what it's designed for. But if you're in a bind, if you have a tin or even just a pint glass, this works perfectly fine. Same thing, 10 to 15 second stir. And then we're just going to strain both of these into our glasses. There's all different kinds of big cubes you can get. A big cube is absolutely necessary for these old-fashioned cocktails. My personal favorite are these guys. They're nice little diamonds. Diamond cubes, they're classy. It's whatever you're fancy. So we're gonna use our bar spoon. You don't wanna just kerplunk it in there. If you're a noob, that's what you do, you kerplunk it in there. So let's use this diamond guy actually for this mezcal old fashioned. Why did I just kerplunk it in there, bro? You're gonna use your bar spoon just to lower this puppy in. And you actually do wanna give it just a couple stirs to help that ice settle, usually until you hear it crack. And then we're gonna do the same thing with just our regular block ice to our other old fashions. Our classic over here, and then our Lafroig. Done with the ice, and last but not least, we just need our citrus. We're doing an orange on our classic, we're doing an orange on our mezcal, we're doing a lemon on our Lafroig. The most important part about this is just squeezing all these oils onto the top of your cocktail. Starting with the Lafroig, you just want to really see the oils mist out if you can, and once you get it on the top layer of the cocktail, you want to rub some of that on the outside here, just so it really hits you aromatically when you're drinking this cocktail. And you just want to plant that right in there, ba-boom. Same thing with the orange. You can actually see it misting out, and it actually is flammable as well. And there you have it, our 3 old fashions, our classic, our Oaxacan, our Lafroig custom old fashioned. I hope you guys learned a few things. I hope you learned some new tricks. I hope you're excited to try some new old fashions. If you're a bartender, you now have something in your repertoire that everyone expects you to know how to make, and nobody really makes it the exact same way. Please don't crush fruit in my old fashioned. Please don't put citrus in my old fashioned. I don't want debris, just a nice cocktail that has pretty much 90% of my liquor and some other flavors in there that are gonna spice it up a little bit. I was gonna say something else. I had something in mind and I don't even remember it.
Is it important?
It probably will be one of those things I think about later, and you're like, you bet you wish you said that.
You're gonna wake up in the middle of the night going, fuck!
Did you put that bed on top of your roof? Yeah. So I did a thing yesterday. I put my dog bed on top of my roof and got in my car without thinking that I put it on the roof and drove away and woke up in the middle of the night exactly like that, wondering if that's what I did. It is what I did. It's exactly what I did. Everyone does dumb things, I guess. I'm no exception. First time dog owner, folks. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for tuning in to the very first episode of BAResource. Check us out weeks to come. We're gonna be doing every 2 weeks at first until we can start pumping these out weekly. If you have cocktails you wanna learn, please let me know. Comment, subscribe, send me a message. Have a great day, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.